Calvin Ford and Team Tank Davis have started to be much more vocal when it comes to fighting Devin and Dream Haney. And you got to question where's it stemming from? Because how long did Devin Haney have them belts? He beat Cambosis first time for the belts. All that time in between time, I know they were going back and forth, and I know he had a 3-fight contract and all this other stuff. And they were really vocal when Devin was tied up. And after the Loma fight, before it actually, Tank was like, yeah, let's fight. When Tank was already tied up with Rolly, going into his Rolando Romero fight between Hector Garcia and all that stuff, he's like, listen, yeah, I want to fight him when he get done doing what he doing and all this stuff. We could fight. But then Ryan Garcia popped up and Tank took on Ryan. But I mean, the timing was just crazy with all of this because Tank, he fought Hector Garcia. Devin Haney was still tied up in his contract, fighting the 2 fights with Kambosos and Lomachenko. So I was trying to figure out where was the wiggle room for them to even fight. The only time for them they really had to really get the smoke with each other was probably before Devin got the belts. They had a lot of wiggle room then. So Tank fighting Ryan Garcia, and you can't really fault him for fighting Ryan Garcia because Tank couldn't do nothing with Devin because Devin still had the obligation to Lomachenko. But here we are now. Tank Davis knocks out Ryan Garcia. Devin Haney beats Lomachenko in a controversial decision. But nonetheless, Devin smoked him, in my opinion, 10-2. But here we are now. Now, in the fight with Loma, there were some moments where Devin Haney didn't look really his greatest. Had some issues. He did get stunned a little bit in the 11th round by Lomachenko, but he bounced back off of it. It wasn't nothing crazy. Wasn't like a Linares moment, anything like that. But he did get rocked. 10th round was Loma's as well. He gave Loma like 2 rounds, and 3 rounds is generous. So throughout the fight in general, though, there were some things that I liked that Devin was doing. There's some things that I thought he could have did a little better, but this is Lomachenko. He's a good fighter. And this is just experience, man. Dev is gaining his experience. And then I think Calvin Ford and his team looked at Devin as vulnerable. And then I remember Devin said, they asked him, was he going to stay at 135? And he said, I don't know yet. Me and my team going to look at the options. And then now here comes Regis Prograis. I didn't hear nothing. Maybe I'm wrong. Have y'all heard anything right before Dev was saying going up to fight Regis? Did you hear a peep from Calvin Ford? I didn't. So then Devin Haney starts flirting around with the idea of going up to 140 because I guess they're talking about the weight. And then Regis Prograis comes into the conversation. And now all of a sudden, dude just flipping coins and talking about, who we got, Shakur or Dev. And then Calvin Ford, we going for Dev. We want to, whatever, going for the belts and all this other shit. And here's my thing, though. A lot of people are looking at it like Devin is having weight issues at 135, right? Could it be Calvin Ford, number one, that they see that the Dev didn't look his greatest, or he looked a little shaky at 135 against Loma? Also, them planning on probably putting a rehydration clause on Devin Haney for the fight. I can almost guarantee you that would probably be in the contract. If they were to sit down and have some negotiations, I bet you 9 times out of 10 that would be in the contract. They will push for a rehydration clause, which is utter bullshit. And Dev already said he's not doing it. So then once they heard Dev say that, now they want to press hard to try to make it seem like Devin is the one, like they really chasing him after they heard Dev say he's not taking the rehydration clause. After Dev already said he's going to fight Regis. These dudes ain't fooling nobody. They think they slick. And if Dev was to stay at 135, after they heard him say he's not doing no rehydration clauses, they probably would try to slide that in there anyway. Knowing Dev say he won't, So they like, well, Dev said he ain't, but we still gonna put it there anyway, just so Dev won't take the fight. So if he really wanted to fight Tank, he would have signed and said, I'll take the rehydration. See, they figured Dev bent backwards for Bob Arum and all of them to take that fight, to take that 3-fight deal. And they figure, well, then if Dev went to do that for them, I mean, I'm sure Dev would do that for us, right? For the rehydration clause. That's what they trying to pull, man. These dudes ain't fooling nobody, man. They might be able to pull the wolf over other motherfuckers' eyes, but they can't do it with mine. And I tell you though, man, this thing of boxing, man, this thing is really, it's a lot of shit in boxing that's really funny style, man. And it don't be hard to tell. All you gotta do is just sit back and you look at it, and you be like, yo, I see the moves these dudes is doing, man. Like, they say Dev is this and that. They could afford that. I mean, back then, if Devin didn't, when Devin only had the WBC, they still could afford Devin for the WBC belt, right? Why didn't they fight him back then? You know what I'm saying? Now I get it. He got all the straps now. They think it's gonna be easy work. He got all the straps. Let's go get the belts from Dev. Or so they tell us. But it don't really look like they really want it with Devin, man. I'm gonna be honest. I mean, listen. I could be wrong. Maybe Tank won it with Dev, but his team is the way I'm seeing it now. Because remember, Floyd even said it. Oh man, I want Dev and Teofimo. I want Teofimo Lopez and Tank. Why are you talking about Teofimo Lopez, bro? He not even in the division. You supposed to be going after Devin Haney, bro. We'll see. Because listen, right now as it stands, Devin Haney he's saying he want to fight Regis. Ain't nothing signed, sealed, and delivered yet. He's floating at the idea of going up to 140 or maybe staying at 135 for the Tank or the Shakur fight. Tank don't have no fights lined up. So pretty much officially, bro, ain't nothing between these two dudes but air, bro. So there's no reason why it shouldn't be made. And here's the thing, though, which is going to lead to my next video about the A-side stuff. And I don't like talking about that shit, but I'm going to touch on it in a little bit. But my thing is, Dev is the belt holder. He's the real king at the division, bro. They probably want to try to drain Dev, you know, but they want everything to go their way because as far as the boxing world is concerned, Tank Davis is the A-side. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But where would they fight at? If Devin's having issues with his weight, why should he stay there and kill himself to appease Tank Davis? So he could have been fought Tank, called Tank out years ago. Nobody wanted to oblige him. Now that he's talking about fighting Regis, moving up, now he's having weight issues, and now he may have looked a little basic against Lomachenko, so they say. Now all of a sudden, these dudes just, they start to be outspoken against fighting Dev. I call bullshit, but we shall see. Anyway, it's your boy Rebel Light Boxer. I'll catch y'all later on the next one, and I'm off this. Peace.